Hey, Hamish, thanks for coming. I'm so happy that you have taken the time to do this interview with me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Well, as everyone will hear, we've been working together and it was a long time. I was just looking at the dates. It was in 2000 and it was November 2020, I think. It was 2020, not even last year, right?
Yeah, something about that. About that time. Yeah.
I don't even remember. I think we've done maybe 3, 4 sessions and they were quite powerful, right?
Yeah. Very, very
Mm.
powerful.
So, are you able to share what was going on for you? What was the challenge, the problem that you've been facing with repeatedly before we've met?
Yeah. Well, at that time I was 19 at the time, now 21, but I dealt with a lot of issues that most people my age and age at the time didn't really handle, like extreme stress, anxiety, fears about people working, a lot of depression generally. Um, but that's like that's all in the past now. But yeah, at the time I was dealing with a lot of issues, like mainly scared about people, new places, trying new stuff, um, and just growing, really.
Because I remember the time when I said I really wanted to set you up for a challenge to meet someone with you that you've never been at. And I think I've seen the reaction in your face like, well, I'd rather not go there. That was
Yeah.
so prevalent for me to see that. So what has changed, or what were the breakthroughs? What was the experience working with me? What happened to you?
Well, there was like a lot of stuff that I used to hold on to, fear, anxiety, anger, stress and all that I used to hold on to a lot back then. But when working with you, now at this point, I don't know what I was angry about or anxious about or anything. I genuinely do not have any clue whatsoever what I was angry about, what I was mad about, what I was scared about. No idea. Um, but it also taught me a lot of lessons and tactics on how to develop myself when it comes to overcoming fears, anxiety, trauma, um, and how to better myself with these lessons. Because after working with you, I ended up finding a job that that deals with people. And I used to be terrified of people. Uh, I used I used to be terrified of phone calls, and my job's answering a phone for customers. I talk to people as my job basically. Um, I was playing ice hockey as well, still am, but I was in a low division, didn't really have any contacts or mentors or anything or anyone to learn from. But you helped me open my eyes and put myself out into the universe and grow as a person, but also put my wants into the universe and attract people who I wanted to be around me. So people who weren't abusive or angry all the time, people who I genuinely wanted to be around. So happy, excited people, people who love ice hockey, who love talking, who just love being around other people. That's what I really wanted. And I don't know, it's crazy because like I'm surrounded by these people now. I went from low tier Division 3 ice hockey, now playing the East Coast Super League, which is the level below Australian ice hockey, well, the AIHL. Um, and I've got a bunch of friends who play overseas and here professionally. Um, and not to mention, I also started my own business as well. Um, so that deals with, people, negotiations, all that sort of stuff. started that as well. So I went from a scrawny, well, not scrawny, anxious, nervous, small, compact little 19-year-old to a completely different person in like a year and a half. Literally just from the lessons with you, sorry, the sessions with you and the lessons you taught me and the tactics and just showing me how to grow as well, but also removing those negative things from my mind and my mindset that really put a barrier in the way from growth.
Absolutely. I'm so impressed because I have actually never seen anyone to shift so much within a space of 4 sessions, and we were really not in contact. So I actually was not sure what has been going on with you for over a year. And I thought that maybe you could even go back to your old self. Because I didn't know much. I was hoping that, the changes, the internal changes that we had done will be externalized. But at times, it doesn't happen. But I'm absolutely stoked to hear all of it. And what else? What other area has shifted for you? For example, how do you show up in relationships?
I feel like my relationships have really developed. Like I said, I used to be terrified of people, but having not even knowing the name, I'm able to have a really nice conversation with someone. I like to note some things. I swear less. I'm much more polite about how I talk to people. I don't think that people are constantly after me or out to get me. And I used to care so much about how people looked and perceived me, basically. And to this day, I honestly could not care about how someone thinks of me. Like, if you hate me, hate me. If you like me, like me. If you love me. I don't care. But all the power to you. Like, I used to be so worried about how people think. Now it's, I'm so worried about how people, if they care about me, or the nature around them and how they put themselves out into the universe, not how they judge me. Because to this day, I honestly couldn't care if you hate me or not. Like, and that's what I used to be so worried about. I've got the people around me. Like, you're an absolute amazing coach. I'm so glad that you're in my life. Like, honestly, I am. I've got the best mother in the world. I've got an amazing girlfriend, some of the bestest friends I could ever have, and the people that I surround myself every weekend and throughout the week are just absolutely amazing people, completely different from what I used to deal with 3-4 years ago. Like, people who did some stupid things, and I did some stupid things back then, but now, like, it's light at the end of the tunnel. That's all gone. I could not care. I don't want anything to do with that anymore. Like, my relationships with people in general have just grown so much. That's personal, business, and then also around sport, around my career as well. It's just grown so much, and it's grown for the better, and it's absolutely awesome. And yeah.
Very, very powerful. And how do you deal with people now? Just when there is those strange remarks or looks, are you able to, set your boundaries? How do you respond?
Yeah. Over time, I've kind of developed a line between stern, like, for instance, stern, direct communication, or they're frustrated and all of that, to abuse, anger, all of that. I've managed to develop a line between it so I can understand which is which. I'm quite a good person, like people reader. I can read people's emotions pretty well based off
Mm.
body language. But the one area I struggled with is between abuse and stern, stern or being direct and forward. I've learned not to take that personally. Kind of grown a thick skin, but also if it does go to the point where it crosses that line, I will, let someone know, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, or I don't appreciate how you're talking to me or whatever. And it's the same vice versa. Like I if I start going, too overboard with being stern or direct, sometimes possibly angry, it's not an external line that they have to tell me. I do it to myself.
Mm.
I catch myself and I'm like, hey, if I don't want someone to talk to me like this, why would I do that? And then try to make amends and learn from what my mistake was rather than dwell on it. And as you said before, people looking at you, judging you. I've just learned, people can think what they want to think. They can look at me how they want to look at me. They can judge me how they want to judge me. But is it really going to affect my life? No, not really. Not at all. It won't. And yeah, like just building lines and a bit of a thicker skin and to understand situations that are happening
Mm.
around me, and that's also helps from like work as well. My job, I deal with people in a quite small community because I work in an ice hockey shop, and some people can come in with completely different emotions. One minute you could have a lovely conversation, next minute another person walks through the door and they're angry as hell. And it's just learning the situations, reading someone, kind of setting boundaries and for yourself. Yeah.
Wow, this is impressive. I'm wondering when the day comes when you decide to start transforming people. But let me just ask you that: where do you see yourself in 3, 5, 10 years?
Well, my dream is to play professional ice hockey. With the things that are happening currently in Australia with ice hockey, it seems like there's going to be a pretty good future in the next couple decades and in the soon near future as well. I definitely want to see myself overseas playing ice hockey while I still got my young spirit around me, where I'm not aching in pain all the time. But also when it comes to business, I want to be really successful in putting what was in my brain into reality.
Mm.
Like I've had 20 plus orders for so far in my business, and we're still really small. And I did this during the pandemic, like the first lockdown as well. I was working
Oh, good.
I was working demolition at the time
Yeah.
and doing renos and slaving away for not very much. But now, I'm doing what I want to do, working where I want to work. And at that time I quit that and was like, I went headfirst straight into business. I maybe spent like 50, 60 hours a week just in my own thing, just for weeks. And then we started finally getting some customers about a month and a half, 2 months after we officially put our ABN in and had some products.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us what it is. Promote yourself.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really want to hear. And I will share it under this video because,
Yeah.
see, I believe that, yeah, tell us what do you need? Who are you serving? And how could someone help you who is listening to this, watching this video?
Yeah. Well, the business is Century 5 Clothing. We basically, yeah, it's about people, right? It's about the message that our shirts represent about how people feel on the inside. So we've got one shirt called the Code of Honor, and it's a Japanese shirt. It's got a massive back print on it. It's pretty sick. It's basically about honor, right? You learn from your mistakes, you apologize for things, and you learn from yourself. You show the honor in yourself on the shirt. It's also things like gratitude, strength as well. It's all about representing yourself on a t-shirt, and it just happens to be Japanese stuff, but we're also looking at developing into athletics wear, so shorts, shirts, hoodies, fitness gear, so people can really can rep that stuff in the gym and show people how they feel in the inside. So one of my friends, for instance, has a couple of our shirts, and every time he goes to the gym, he wears one based on how he feels. And if he's feeling strong that day, he wears a samurai banner shirt, which has got a samurai on the back, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, and we chose Century 5 because that name kind of is based loosely off periods of history that began. It's pretty good, pretty cool. You come to my website and you come to Instagram and you talk to me and all that, you'll get to know more about it. But
yeah, I want to look at it now, and of course we will share it under the video. Is there any recommendation you could give to someone who is young, kind of at the same place where you were, or struggling with something that just seemed to reoccur and reoccur? What would you recommend to this person looking at this?
Yeah, I definitely recommend not taking everything so seriously. Like, there are people in your life who should be there, and there are people who shouldn't be there. It's about distinguishing who's who, and then making those changes to what you really want. And if you don't want those people around you who shouldn't be there, who are bad for you, who are negative, who make you do things that you don't want to do, cut them out. But the harsh way to do it is cut them out. It probably going to suck, but what's better is surrounding yourself around people that actually matter, who are nice to you, who care about you, and who are willing to push you forwards at all times. And it's also about developing yourself. Like, you're 17, 18, 19 and on, you're in your late teens, you're in your 20s. Life's not going to end tomorrow. Like, some people made millions in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're living life then. But you're young, and if you want to start early, you can. If you want to start late, that's completely fine. But it's about finding the things that you love doing and then just doing them while you're young. And even when you're old, you could still do them. Like, I plan on playing ice hockey till I die. They're going to have to take me off the ice in a stretcher.
That's so good. That's what I normally say to my family, that you know, one day I will be still taking off from the launch point with my paraglider, and maybe at landing I'm gonna break my knees.
Yeah.
I can't get a pretty soft landing spot. And one last question: what would you suggest to people who are considering and sitting the fence to work with me, scratching their heads?
Just do it. Like, literally, don't second guess yourself. Just do it. It's going to help you so much. Like, I'm young and I was dumb and I was depressed and I was full of anxiety and fear. And I bet you if I didn't do these sessions with Android, if he didn't teach me the things that I know now, if he didn't make me forget what I was angry about, which I still have no idea, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I would still be that boy that I was. I would still be basically the guinea pig. I'd still be running in fear, scared of everything around me, feeling small. But I consider myself a wolf now. Strength, confidence. I'm in a wolf pack. Like, I've got my friends. They're my pack. They're absolutely awesome. They push me and I push them. But yeah, just go for it. Like, Endure will help you a lot, and he will help you develop into the person that you really want to be.
Hamish, thank you very much for this interview, and talk to you later. I will hear about your later results in the Profi League, professionally.
Can't wait to tell you all about it, and you got to come to an East Coast game.
Yeah, of course. I will come and see your games. Thanks very much.
No worries.